Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. I'm really happy to be here again generating content. I've been in Belarus for the last week having an awesome time with my new family. We did some incredible things. Amongst them, we went to the Victory Day Parade, which is on the 9th of May, and we saw a military parade. Quite a few World War II tanks, including an IS-3, amongst others, were driven right next to me. I've got some awesome footage of that. They'll be putting up on my YouTube channel at an undisclosed time because I've got so much content on backlog that I want to get out for you guys. But I digress. Let's focus on what's important right now, and that is when you're away for a week, you get quite a few replays that build up on the awesome QuickyBaby Replays website. And this is one of my favorites here by Trios92. He's playing in his T110E3. This is a tier 10 American tank destroyer. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to make a lot of mistakes today, guys, as I warm up, so to say, back into the commentary. So what do you really need to know about the T110E3? Well, it's different to the E4, the other American tier 10 tank destroyer, as it doesn't have a turret. It forgoes the turret to gain a huge amount of armor, as we're going to see here. He slams a shell into the Tiger II, and reverses because he doesn't want to get hit in the side by the Panther II. Now, one thing, if you've got strong armor, that's great, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to get shot at a lot. And by also pulling back, I think it lulls the enemy into coming forwards. And so that enables Trios to put another round there into the lower plate of the IS-7. Now this matchup is very nice for Trios here. Just under half the enemy team are tier 8. And that means that their guns have very low penetration, meaning that they've got practically no chance of going through the front of the E3. And I clarify the front, and that's because the side and rear armor of this tank are garbage. If you hit the side, especially this area of the tank, oh, and if you hit this area, it's absolutely devastating. You are going to go through it with any tier 8 tank that you have, irrelevant if this is a tier 10 tank destroyer or not, and it's the same for the back of the vehicle. Also, we can see that the traverse speed on the T110E3, it's not terrible, but it's definitely not the best, which means that this thing does take a while to get around. Its top speed limit is not as slow as the T95, and if you've just reached the T110E3 from the T95, you know exactly what I mean. Looks like Trios has picked the wrong window there. That one's blocked up. He has to go on the right-hand side, and now this is a dream position for this tank. He stops the E75 from pushing forwards and flanking his allies. The E75 is now caught completely out of position, and he stops the Tiger II in his tracks as well. He's looking to try and finish off the Tiger II, decides that he's going to have to kill that E75 instead. Right into the lower plate. That 15 points of damage is totally worth it, just securing the kill on that tank. Now that Tiger II, he's really making a big mistake here trying to shoot it at T110E3. But my condolences to him. I guess he thought he stood a chance. One of the things that I must mention about the T110E3 is that unlike the E4, this is not a weak point frontally. It is not a weak point, so do not try to shoot an E3 in the top of the tank there, unless you have about 300 millimeters of penetration plus. He sneaks in a great shot into an IS-7 on the enemy team, taking him out the game over the hull, or the wreck, of an IS-3. Now, Trios is firing standard rounds here, and just look how weak the cheek armor of the mouse is. Right through, doing 764 damage. Now the mouse has over-angled his side armor, allowing Trios to put in another 630. And these are all standard rounds. These are not premium rounds on this tank, and that's because the standard rounds get a whopping 295 millimeters of penetration. The mouse points his gun directly at Trios, and even angled that much, because of the fact that the front of the turret is flat, 295 millimeters of penetration is enough to go through it at least some of the time. Next, the pattern Trios is simply ripping apart this town. He has done 6,300 damage in this 5-minute game. There is no doubt that without him on this western flank, it would have fallen. B75 goes, oh god, I'm getting out of here, guys. What is this monster that is plowing through our team? And that's because the T110E3 is probably the best tank frontally in the game. I'd say it's even better than the Jagdpanzer 100 for all-round armor. Fair enough, your alpha damage might not be as high, but I feel like your upper plate is much better than the Jagdpanzer 100, especially at taking premium ammunition. And your lower plate, I feel, is better as well, at least for the size of it. He puts in a second shot into the E75 there, doing a combined total of 1,626 with his 2 rounds. So, although Trios has done nearly 8,000 damage, guys, this game it's not won. His team is still down a tank, and there are some very dangerous players on the enemy team. Now his baby brother, a T28, comes plowing down the street on Runeberg. What is he going to be able to do? Can he find the cupola? It misses, and the upper plate of the T28 is still pretty strong at these kind of ranges. Failing to penetrate him, he doesn't just load an APCR round. He keeps firing his standard rounds and plows one right through the lower plate of the T28. Something is shooting him from above. I'm not sure if it's an AMX-50B. Oh, it's Object 140s. The Object 140s have found him, and they are firing heat after heat after him. The first 2, only 1 penetrates. The next 2 bounce as he finishes off the T28. Another heat round hits the tracks, and one of the heat rounds misses and hits the dirt in front of him. 7-8. 1 heat round out of 8 penetrated the front of his tank at this distance. The 9th missed, and if we're being picky, I believe that 2 missed, 7 hit and 1 penetrated. So 9 heat rounds invested there by the Object 140s on the enemy team. Now his team are very spread out here. They're leaving themselves very open to the wolf pack of Soviet medium tanks, who have currently got 5 kills between them. They're having a great roll as well. Now, after surviving that barrage of credits that came from the enemy team, Joss decides to push down. Having just witnessed his T69 get obliterated by the enemy team, the Centurion seems to be having nothing of it as he continues to push towards him. That is very, very, very brave, Mr. Centurion. Gosh, Trios has caught the Object 140 right out in the open. He finishes him off. Great play there. The other Object 140 realizes that he needs to get into the town quickly before Trios is able to shoot him in the side as well, and he does that. A Borsig has been spotted on the southern flank. With the IS-7, they're having an engagement right now. Let's take a look at the health pools. Oh gosh, the IS-7 is a one-shot, but puts in a good hit into the Borsig there. 555 damage is a high roll for the 130mm gun on the IS-7. Come on, Trios, you can make it. Trios finally finds the Borsig. Wait for it. Shuts him down. But he takes 1 in the backside from the Object 140. Make that 2. Oh gosh, 600 hit points lost there. That was definitely unwanted. The Object 140 doesn't waste any more time firing at him, because Trios turns his tank round, he keeps calm, and he reverses up. We just saw how good the frontal armor on the T110E3 was against 7 heat rounds from the Object 140s. As long as he keeps his frontal armor to the Object 140, he's going to find it very, very hard to be able to engage him. So right now, Trios is in a situation 2 versus 1 against that Object 140. How are they going to be able to come through this? They need to link up. Trios says in the chat, stay with me. But oh no, it looks like it's too late. He hasn't been able to get there. And the Object 140 manages to shut down the IS-7, leaving them locked in combat Right now, the Object 140 is contesting for a Top Gun medal, while Trios wants to lock down his Radley Walters. So right now, this is a very stressful situation to be in. The enemy Object 140 has 915 hit points, which means that Trios is going to have to penetrate 2 AP rounds, really, to be able to kill him with his 750 alpha damage. The Object 140, on the other hand, has to penetrate 2 into Trios as well, but his reload is a lot faster. Now, these kind of engagements, for the Object 140 to win, he has to be able to get the side or the rear of Trios. For Trios to win, he has to catch the Object 140 right in front of him. Trios is hoping that the Object 140 is camping where he was. He's not. So what is Trios' next move? There's 4 minutes left on the game. He is already at 10,000 damage. Can he get another 1,000? So what I would be thinking right now is that I have no idea where the Object 140 would be. Either I go and camp in a location and hope that he comes in front of me, or I cap. You have to cap with 3 minutes left on the clock here. He has to get inside the cap circle with 1 minute 40. And the T110E3 might have an okay top speed limit for a tank destroyer of 25 kilometers an hour, at least compared to some of the British tank destroyers and also the T28 and the T95 that come before it. By getting in the cap, he forces the Object 140 to come at him. Now he's just got to try and pick a strong position to use. And this looks like a good position. He can use the wreck of that Centurion to cover his position and use this rubble behind him to cover the weak rear armor of his tank if he's caught out. That's right, aim just down that alleyway, Trios. Now we've got a very tense situation. Where's the Object 140? There he is. Trios reacts well and slams a shell for 741 to the side of the Object 140, who tracks him. Trios instantly repairs his tracks and puts pressure on the Object 140, going forwards to stop him from being able to get the traverse. The Object 140 hits his tracks again with an excellent shot, and Trios has to wait. Come on, repair crew. He damages his engine. He's turning. Oh, God, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, my God, that is painful. Absolute heartbreak at the end of the game there. So the final shot by the Object 140 on the enemy team didn't manage to take Trios' tracks off, but it damaged his engine, and when you've got a damaged engine, it slows your traverse speed, and so he wasn't able to traverse his tank quick enough to be able to finish off the last shot, leaving the Object 140 on 10% of his hit points. 10,800 damage was not enough to win this game. What a complete unjust result. But I can't really take too much from the Object 140s on the enemy team. Well played to you two for picking up 9 kills. That's a great result for you guys as well. And it made it all the more exciting watching Trios battling against you. I feel like the position that Trios chose at the end was the right one. From here, as we mentioned, he had good cover on his backside and he could use the Centurion as an opportunity to cover his flanks. I think the only way that Trios could have got through this situation at the end of the game was to not use his repair kit immediately. When the Object 140 tracked him, he didn't actually do any damage to him, and at that point Trios was not loaded. He knew he could take at least one more shot from the Object 140 guaranteed, and he probably should have taken it and repaired that time. And if the Object 140 had tried to get around him, if he didn't use his repair kit, then he could have just let him, really, and then used it when he'd reloaded, used the brute force of his tank to turn it into the Centurion and finish off the Object 140. But really, I'm just nitpicking here. And remember that what I just talked through only applies if you've got your T110E3 or any non-turreted tank destroyer up against a wall. If you're caught in the open, there's no point in saving your repair kit, because any tank with a remotely good driver will just run rings around you. Either way, Trios, thank you so much for sending me this replay. Let's just take a very quick look at the post-game stats. Trios received 13,000 credits and 2,148 experience for a defeat with his Top Gun medal, cool-headed, and a high caliber. He got 1,432 base experience, far more than anyone on the enemy team did. And he did nearly 5 times the damage of anyone else on his team in this tier 10 game. Absolutely ludicrous. He made a good profit as well of 53, nearly 54,000 credits, hitting every single shot that he fired, and only 2 of those didn't penetrate the target, blocking over 7,000 damage this game, showing you the monstrous armor capabilities of the T110E3. Trios, my heart goes out to you for this replay. You played it perfectly, but something that I'm feeling, at least in recent weeks, is that the T110E3, albeit a fantastic tank for simply plowing through enemies frontally, you can get outplayed in this vehicle so hard it can be so frustrating as well. But then again, I guess that is the case for all non-turreted tank destroyers that don't have a lot of mobility. So anyway guys, hopefully you enjoyed this replay as much as I did. If you did, please consider giving this video a like down below. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to find out more about the capabilities of the T110E3, then simply click up here and you can go through to a huge replay by Marius. And I'd be interested to know in the comments down below, what did you guys do for V-Day this year? I went to an incredible parade with my new family and experienced something like I had never before. Let me know what you guys think. And from now on, I'm going to be back to my normal streaming schedule, so hopefully I'll see all of you guys on Twitch TV. And thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.